All right, the Princeton Railroad Museum started dedicated to the Virginian Railroad. Princeton would not be Princeton without the Virginian Railroad. Princeton was burned during the Civil War and was very slow to build back up. And in around 1905, 1906, the Virginia Railroad decided to put a station here and decided to put what we called, when I was a youngster, a foundry, but it was the shops. And the shops at one point had up to 1,100 men employed, and they were from Princeton, and they lived here, and they added to the economy. Princeton grew rapidly when the station came and the shops came. And so Princeton probably would not be what it is today were it not for the Virginia Railroad. And that's why we have the Railroad Museum. We're standing in the original station that was built around 1905. And so when they decided to close it, when the Norfolk and Western Railroad bought the Virginian in 1959, they decided to close the station. Princeton decided it would be a good use for a museum. And that's where we are today. We have people from all over the world. We are just newly became members of Harvest Host, which is a group of RVers who travel throughout the country. I probably have had in the last month 30 to 40 calls from people with their RVs wanting to park outside the parking lot, and we welcome them to come. Even though the museum's not open right now because of COVID, all the RVers look in the windows and they text me and tell me, we're coming back on our way back, hopefully you'll be open. So we have a model railroad upstairs that is under construction. There are a lot of model railroad people in this country and in other countries in the world. They come here to see how our model railroad is going. We have a lot of people who are Virginian fans, and we have a lot of people who are N&W fans. The room we're standing in right now is the N&W room because the N&W bought the Virginian in 1959, so we have a lot of N&W artifacts also, not just the Virginian. And even now we have Norfolk and Southern artifacts because N&W merged with Southern Railroad and became Norfolk Southern. So we get a lot of people from all over the country. You can find us on Yelp, you can find us on TripAdvisor. You see we have 4 to 5 stars from everybody. So this is a well-maintained museum. I have several people who work here. I have 2 ladies who've been here for years and they keep it spotless. So, and we have some things that aren't available anywhere else in the world. So, especially when it comes to the Virginian. So that's where we get people from. The caboose is the conductor's house. He lives here. The conductor is the boss of the train, and many times he stays for a week or so. An engineer only works so many hours, and then they have to stop and get off and get a new engineer. The conductor stays. He has a bed to sleep in. He has a stove to cook his meals on, and it's coal-fired. There's the coal, you put it down in the bottom, and this heats it up. He has water tanks. He has a sink to wash his dishes in, a sink to wash his hands in, lots and lots of closets. He has a refrigerator, and the refrigerator was called an ice box. That's the original term. And there was a big block of ice right here that kept his eggs and meat and milk cold. And when they stopped at a station, he would replenish the ice, and it would just melt and go down underneath the caboose. The 3 things people like here, not just Princeton, but the whole state: the people and the mountains and the faith base. That's what everybody likes. And then they usually say, and my family's here. So that's what I like. The people here will stop by the road and fix your flat tire. They won't charge you and they won't rob you when they leave. And that's the nice thing about this area, it's the people.